From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Kent's Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Well, good evening, everyone. Let's talk about the solar eclipse. You may have heard about it. I'm going to give you some of the facts and what we've got here when it comes to us here in Northern California. So what we're looking at here is right here. This is where you're going to have the quote-unquote full eclipse, the full annular eclipse. But it's actually not going to be a full eclipse, and I'll let you know what I'm talking about here in a second here. But as you go on kind of either side of that, it goes to 80% and 70%, and less of an eclipse as you kind of get farther away from that eclipse path. So where are we in Northern California? We're actually very close to it. So there you can see this line right here. So places like Sacramento will be about 80%. As you get to the center of this area right here around where Redding is, you'll see about an 85% eclipse of the sun. Okay, and then we head up north here and you get close to Alturas where it's going to be approximately 89%. Now 89% is not expected to get any higher than that because this is not going to be a full eclipse. But again, we'll get into that here in a second. So if you want to see the Ring of Fire, you're going to need to be on the north side of this white line right here. And there you can see in northeastern California, Fort Bidwell, Cedarville, even Alturas is just barely within that line there, as well as Tule Lake. So that's really neat that you're going to be able to see that out in northeastern California. Meanwhile, most of Oregon is within that path here. So maybe heading out to the coast, Corvallis, Eugene, Roseburg, Klamath Falls, for example. But look at Ashland, Medford, just outside, as well as Grants Pass. But you head to Bandit and Coos Bay, looks like you'll be able to see it in its quote-unquote totality. And again, we'll talk about what this all means here. So there's the annular eclipse we're going to be experiencing this year, right? This is going to be the total eclipse that is going to be pretty far to our east. So we're actually not going to be experiencing that eclipse, unfortunately, unless you go ahead and travel in that direction here. All right, so I was talking about how it's going to be a full eclipse, right? So what happens is the moon is actually a little bit farther away from us and closer to the sun. And what that does is it leaves a ring of fire around the sun. So when you still have that ring of fire around the sun, the amount of eclipse actually comes out to approximately 89%. And another thing that's really important to note is that you cannot look directly at this with your eyes. Okay, you have to have protection over your eyes. They're very cheap. Go to Amazon.com. You'll find them. They're still available. Go to Amazon.com and get some, all right? Because you don't want to look at this thing. You can't. It's not safe. However, when you have the total eclipse, then you have a 100% eclipse of the sun. That's when you can actually look at the sun. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, that won't be anywhere near us come next year. Now, because you are going to see the Ring of Fire in northeastern California, Alturas is actually having an event. So you can see Friday, October 13th, they are going to have a barbecue at the Alturas Lions Club. And of course, it's going to be a great barbecue. They're going to have a pit barbecue. And then, of course, they'll have events throughout the morning as the eclipse is approaching and obviously during the eclipse as well. So if you're going to be in that area, be sure to check that out. I highly recommend it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on. And wow, what a gorgeous day we saw on the coast. I mean, look at this. Beautiful blue sunny skies, temperatures above normal for this time of the year. And we take you out to the north here at Battery Point. This is Crescent City. Blue skies out here as well. And we take a look at what's going on in the valley, and this is going to be kind of a video clip that we'll kind of see here. This is actually a live clip that I'm looking at as I'm recording this. And you see the camera shaking a little bit, but it's not shaking as much as it was at noon. So the winds are actually starting to show signs of dying down, but I mean, just beautiful blue, clear skies, even for the valley as well. So we're going to continue with the breezy conditions at times in the valley the next few days, but it's warming up. We've already noticed that today, and we're going to be in the 90s again tomorrow, and even as we go into your Friday as well. But possible rain early next week for everyone? Maybe. We'll get into that here in just a second here. But here's some of the peak winds. I mean, earlier this morning at the airport, Redding, 35 miles per hour. Corning, 25, 22 miles per hour. Red Bluff, Chico. Later this afternoon, about 17 miles per hour. Now, you hit it up in some of the higher elevations, Chester, Alturas, and Susanville. Now, if you don't see your location labeled here and you saw the breezy conditions, bottom line, for the most part, minus places like Redding and some of the higher exposed mountaintops, we basically saw wind gusts between 15 and 20, 25 miles per hour. So it really wasn't a major wind event that we're seeing here. So as we go into your Thursday, here's in the morning, the foothills in particular, east of the valley, seeing some stronger winds, but even the valley seeing a little breezy as well. Thursday evening, winds are gone. But check this out, as we go into Thursday evening into Friday morning, we're seeing more winds for the eastern foothills before we begin to see those winds die down again for Friday afternoon. All right, so big ridge of high pressure. That's the reason why our temperatures are so much above average, right? We're looking at temperatures in the 90s for the valley, and of course, well above normal as you head out to the coast. Now, we take a look at Futurecast. There it is. That's the warmer air. Okay, now I'm going to kind of transition this in time as we go into Friday. That warmer air is still in place. So that's why I still expect temperatures to be around 90 for some of the warmer spots. Then that warmer air shifts to the south and east, colder air moving in, and yeah, we're going to see quite a drop in our temperatures, but this is also what could possibly bring us a chance for some rain. So let's show you that. So it's dry through at least Monday. Here's Monday at 6 a.m. But this line right here is going to be moving on in. Now, this is where we've got to kind of go. This is where it's important for you to kind of get the information from me, who've got the experience and can kind of tell you what we can look at, because we can look at these forecast models and go, oh, wow, look at what's going to happen. All right. But here's the thing. We see these cold fronts happen all the time. And a lot of times they've got this kind of strength where you've got decent rain for the coast. Now, this is Monday night at 10 p.m., so it should be dry on Monday, but by Tuesday, Monday night to Tuesday, that's the rain moving in. Now, this cold front, watch what happens. It pushes to the east. You see how it disappears and then reappears again over the valley. I don't think that that's what's going to happen. This is Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. It's showing rain for Redding. Number one, this is very light rain. So it's just picking up on some of the added cloud cover and some of that instability out there. But the cold front itself, I think will get torn apart as it typically does over the coastal range, the Trinity Alps, right? Then it may reestablish itself. And that happens where it kind of breaks apart before hitting the valley. And the thing is, it's not out of the question for parts of the valley to see a stray sprinkle, maybe a light shower, but not enough to really put in the forecast just yet. But we could see it redevelop here and make its way into the eastern mountains by Tuesday. Now, one of the things I really want to stress and point out is that the bulk of the rain will be on the coast. That's where you're going to see quote unquote significant rainfall. And when I say significant, quarter, maybe half an inch, depending on how heavy that gets, right? But by the time it moves eastward, even the eastern mountains here, it's not going to amount to much. I think you'd be lucky if you see a tenth of an inch of rainfall. So that's kind of the story and kind of what's going on with that. The forecast models, and in particular this one's been going really back and forth on whether or not the valley does see rain. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We're going to get closer to that time frame. We'll get a better handle on it, right? So that was next Tuesday. As we go to Wednesday, Thursday, we have another approaching cold front toward the end of next week, which may impact our weather. We'll take a look at that. Now, take a look at this. October 10th through October 14th, you see how we have that chance of seeing above normal rainfall. When you get into the lighter greens, that means it's a lower chance. We get into the darker greens, it's a bigger chance. So this is a typical pattern. The bulk of the rain is the Pacific Northwest, and it just clips Northern California, and we just don't see much out of it. All right, so here's a look at your wave heights for your Thursday. There you can see those wave heights are going to be about 7 to 8 feet. So they are dropping, but they're still going to be rather high, with north winds at 5 to 10 knots for tomorrow, waves from the north at 6 feet at 8 seconds, and from the northwest at 4 feet at 11 seconds. There's your high tide in the morning, and your low tide also in the morning at 3.9 feet. And then we look at your sunrise and your sunset, and there are no alerts. Okay, so let's take a look at our forecast for tonight. Those winds are dying down. We'll get a break from the winds, but look at the cold temperatures off to the north and east. We're going to get close to freezing for places like Alturas and Aden. So yeah, these cold nights. And this right here is an indication where we're really starting to see some really good fall colors, not as much off to the west. All right, so now we take a look at tomorrow. And there you have it. Yeah, They're those low 90s. It's summer just trying to grasp onto us a little bit more, right? And then we've got those 70s and 80s for the higher elevations, and even some low 90s for places like Hoopa and Garberville. And look at these temperatures, quite possibly in the 70s. Now, Crescent City didn't see 70s today, but Eureka you did. There was an anomaly at approximately noon today with a temperature of about 84 degrees at the Arcata Airport. Technically the temperature that's gauged for Eureka. We'll have to wait and see. Tune in tomorrow morning. We'll take a look at the record here, see if we broke a record in Eureka. It could be close. I think there's a chance we may have broken a record in Eureka. But bottom line, it was warm, and it's going to be another warm day tomorrow. And quite honestly, I may be undershooting those temperatures for Eureka. I mean, it was so warm today, right? So let's take a look at your 7-day outlook. There you see the dry conditions. Now it's warming up. Low 80s for Mount Shasta for Friday, Saturday. Temperatures dropping again. There's that chance for rain on Tuesday. Now, what you'll notice here for Alturas, a chance for showers Tuesday, and not to mention Susanville. Now, remember, I was mentioning that cold front tends to kind of hop over the valley, right? And so the valley, for now, I'm keeping you dry. I do want to stress, though, we've got to watch Tuesday. If you have outdoor plans, maybe you pour concrete, you do something that involves being outdoors, let's keep an eye on Tuesday. Let's keep an eye on that together, and we'll see what we've got going on here as we get closer to Tuesday. But my instinct right now tells me that it will be dry in the valley on Tuesday. But we'll see. We'll kind of have to get closer to that time frame, get a better idea. Here's your 7-day forecast for the coast. As I mentioned, I might be undershooting that temperature by a lot, really. Bottom line, it's going to be warm, even for the coast. We're talking even Thursday and Friday. And then those temperatures dropping with that rain coming in Tuesday. And yeah, I'm very confident it'll be raining on Tuesday for the coast, and not to mention inland. And even Weaverville, we'll see some of that rain as well. And those temperatures dropping. So it warms up, it peaks somewhere around Friday, Saturday, and then those temperatures start to drop after that.